Welcome back to Positive Niches, everybody. We've got CJ Paghasian, right? Close enough?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go with it.
Right. CJ's a motion designer, and you work at where now?
World Resources Institute.
World Resources Institute. What do you guys do at World Resources Institute?
So we're a climate change research organization. Honestly, a lot of what we do goes over my head. I'm just a creative. But it's a lot of researchers, policymakers working together to make the world better. Their focus is on people, nature, and climate. So anything from like the way that cities are built to like the actual policies that are being implemented in different countries is what they look at.
Now, are you successful? Are you making the world a better place?
I mean, sometimes it is. I think sometimes it is like balancing like making your clients happy and your donors happy and the researchers happy. Like it's a lot more than just making the world better.
Sure.
But I think it's a lot more like other people are making the world better and I'm the one who's like, hey, like look at what they're doing. Like they're amazing.
Yeah.
Give them money, So yeah.
So as a motion designer, though, what's that like for you in your sort of day-to-day operations with a company like that, with a nonprofit like that?
Yeah. So a lot of what I've done are sort of like explainer videos. So I'll work with researchers and comms people on different teams and try to figure out like, oh, like, okay, there's this like report that's coming out. Is there a way that we can take the sort of like general abstract or the or like the biggest findings in this report and turn it into something that we can put on social media? Or, if there's a new website that they're creating that shows off like new data sets, I try to figure out like okay, like what sort of a lot of times it's like working with the brand that they've created and figuring out how to turn that into motion, like making templates for them, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different things, but basically anything that needs to be animated or anything that's video usually goes through me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
or my coworker. Yeah.
So now
we're a team.
You've seen the show before, so you know the question that's coming up is, how would you describe your job to a child? Say 6, 7, 8 years old. How would you describe your job to them?
Yeah, I guess. See, because my sister's always like, oh, he's just a design major, and now he has a job. So my sister's a dancer, so that's
so
a lot.
Belittling, right?
Yeah, well, a dancer's a lot easier to explain because
Sure.
Yeah, you just dance in front of them, and they're like, oh, you can do that.
Right.
Yeah. I guess like I do animations, but it's not necessarily for like TV. Or really for commercials, really. I'm taking people's research and ideas and turning it into something that like you could understand, a 6-year-old.
Well, there you go. That's a very good way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're big, complex ideas. I know from having worked with you guys before, there's some things there that are hard for adults to understand, and being able to distill it down for a broader audience, I think, is an important part of what you do.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, there are some things where like we have to keep like certain terms like in the script. But sometimes like, if a script tends to be like full of jargon, I try to like explain things through visuals along with the words so that they kind of like coordinate together.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so at my job I do like, I guess if we're still talking to the 6-year-old, like I'm doing like the whole entire thing. Like I'm doing the storyboard, so I like sketch out like what the video is going to look like. I make the design, so I actually draw out like the characters and the things that go on the screen. I animate all of that. I edit it all together. Sometimes we have like a live action video that goes with it. So like I'm behind a camera, like recording things, and then I take the card and edit it back into those animations. I do sound editing. That one I'm is not as much of my forte.
You're a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
It's funny how I think.
yeah, no, literally hiring voiceover artists, like helping figure out like the social media strategy, like it's a lot. So
it's funny how I think the motion designer has evolved, especially at small nonprofits or associations, even smaller brands or networks, even have evolved into you got to do a lot. You're not just an animator anymore. You're not just a type designer or animator. You're video editor. You're a video shooter. You're, a lot of these things. And I think that's an important part of being able to understand what it is to be a motion designer and how you're taking content to tell a story.
yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, I think like part of the reason why I wanted to take this job as opposed to like somewhere else, like maybe at a studio, is just because I'm honestly like using my brain a little bit more.
Mm.
Like I'm like synthesizing new information because I don't have any background in like environmental policy, or I mean I started out in biology, which is a whole different story. But yeah, like I think it's a really interesting position to be in because um I like part of what I do is science communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's like understanding the stuff myself and then being like, okay, how am I going to explain this?
Sure, sure.
So yeah.
So what is AI looking like for your world, if at all?
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring this up.
It's the hot topic. We got to,
Yeah.
because it's interesting because you work in a bit of a different space in terms of how AI is used creatively or how it's used for a functional thing.
Right.
Helping to move the process along. Sorry, little guy. Helping to move the process along versus helping to create something new. The
Right.
distinction between that. It's like, so what does that look like for you guys? Is that even in your ballpark?
I mean, we've played around with AI for some of our projects. I've honestly played with AI more just like on my own time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think with something so new, it's a little bit difficult to pitch that to a client, especially when our organization is big about like accuracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we're depicting like real people in real situations. So, but I mean, for funsies, like the things that I do on Instagram, that sort of thing. Like yeah, a lot of the things that I've been doing recently has been sort of combining like collage and illustration. So a lot of that, like I'm taking already made assets and then I like zhuzh them up with like lasso tool, and then you're like, oh, like put a cat here, or
Right.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I try to like fiddle with it so that it doesn't quite look like it's AI.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't messed with it a whole lot. I wouldn't say it's like a main part of my process yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think admittedly I am a little bit like like designing is like, sure, it's a difficult part of the process, but I think what's more important is like the ideas that you're putting behind it.
Mm.
And like the way that you're interpreting something, and then is a, like the thought process is a little bit more interesting than the actual making of the thing.
Right.
Um,
If your idea is no good, it doesn't
yeah.
matter how well you've made it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I have a good feeling that when AI starts to like become a little more widely used, I think a lot of clients who have low budgets are going to be using it, and they're going to be making a lot of crap.
I think you're right. You're 100% right.
I mean, I think that they're already doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a scary world, but I don't know how you put the top back on that genie bottle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you can.
No.
Like, yeah, I think it's already out, and it's not really a Pandora's box. It's just like, it's another thing. It's another tool.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who don't believe that.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting to find the creatives who do believe that, who think this is a tool and I'm going to use it as such to make myself better, versus those who are afraid of it and don't want to touch it.
Yeah. I mean, also if we're talking like politics, like I think there is like regulation that needs to be done, because a lot of the like images that are being created through AI, the original artists like don't get credited. They don't get any royalties from it. Same with all of the music and like a lot of things that are coming out of AI. Like
Yeah.
they're not from things in the public domain. Like it's people's work, and I mean, we live in a world that runs on money. Like, and it is a little bit like, you know, like like at a certain point you could say that like AI is stealing from a lot of other artists,
Sure.
so
But here's my and I agree with you on that. But also the other side of that coin, how do you police AI that's referencing 10 million images and one of them just happens to be one of yours and it just uses it to learn how to make X, you know what I mean, or Y. But you really can't see what they made and link it completely back to what yours was as part of that 10 million that it learned from. So it's like
right.
how do you police that?
Yeah, I mean, that's above my pay grade.
Because
Yeah.
here's the question, like in a way you have done the same thing. As a human, you have gathered from all of the things you've seen and experienced over life. You've done that and when you spit something out now, it's your creation, but it has been heavily influenced by what you've learned and what you've encountered, what you've seen in a museum, what you've read in a design book. Those things all belong to somebody else. So in a way, you're
Sure.
taking your own human AI, if you will, and you're learning from real people. So what's the difference between a human doing that and creating in a human way versus an AI doing the same basic process?
I I mean, I think there is a fundamental difference because as a human you are like an individual creating that,
Mm-hmm.
whereas AI is being created by like a company, like a machine,
Sure.
Like, and like admittedly the rights of a machine is different than the rights of a human. Like that's I mean
Depends on what movie are we watching, you know?
yeah, exactly. I mean, this stuff is above my pay grade, but I mean, like we're already seeing what happens when social media isn't regulated.
Yeah.
Like a lot of misinformation gets out.
Mm-hmm.
And we've already, and like there's no way to get the genie back in the bottle,
Yeah.
but there are ways to be like, hey, we're seeing like the repercussions of this. Like, is there any way that we can like put at least a few reins?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that having some sort of guidelines for it is going to be important.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
I
I
don't.
don't think that AI is like a problem. It's just like,
No, I don't
you
think so
know?
either. I don't think
Yeah.
so either. And I think it's interesting to use it as a tool and to use it um, to create. We like to use it to create in a way that gives us a springboard.
Yeah.
It's a starting point. It's a reference point. It's a oh, here's what we're thinking. It won't be this because this is just a reference point. But if we're going to sell this through to you, here's where we'd like to go with it, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where things are right now. I mean, I'd love to be able to, like, I have tried, like, taking some of my own work and putting it into Midjourney and seeing if it can, like, generate
That's
new
cool.
things, like, in my style.
And
It's not quite there yet, but I think it's because
you need more of your work to put in there. Is probably what it is.
yeah, either that or, like, I'd really have to think about, like, how I'd want to integrate AI into like what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, probably in a few months we'd have a different conversation.
Yeah,
So.
we will. We will.
Yeah.
So outside of that, there's something really cool that you do in the DC area. Tell us about your happy hours that you've put on and the purpose behind them, because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, sure. So I've been running a monthly happy hour called Creative Professionals of DC. And it's a relatively small group right now. And I really just like book a venue and I just invite like people who I know and like honestly the general public. Anyone who considers their profession to be a creative one, they can come sit down and like we can talk and catch up.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why I did it is because like honestly I kind of wanted to I mean I consider myself a motion designer, but I do think that a lot of my skill set is really applicable to a lot of different kinds of careers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I kind of wanted to like keep a pulse on like what's going on just in the creative field in general.
Yeah. I
But
think that's really important too.
yeah, because like I mean I started my job during the pandemic, And like it like everything felt really siloed. Um, like, you know, a lot of like communication between people was like on Slack and on Discord and through emails. Like it just felt very like distanced, and it's really different than having people like in front of you, you know? Yeah, no, it's something that I just wanted to start. I'm not really sure where it's going, but you know, it's something.
Well, I love it. I love the idea of bringing people together, and I think especially in this DC community where it's overshadowed by politics and government, bringing the creative world, you know, up, bringing it to light, and I think connecting people from different avenues. You know, that's what's. I just had a meeting, you know, today, and it was, you know, sports related. But it's, if you think, man, there's creatives over in sports world, but there's creatives in nonprofits and associations. There's creatives in TV networks and discoveries, and you know, all here too. But they just don't really know, I think, about each other. So how can we bring them together? Part of that is this podcast and what we're doing with this season of doing just DC specific DMV, you know, not DC, but DMV specific creatives, and bringing them here in person and having cool conversations. Because, you know, next we're going to talk to different people, and then it's, oh, do you know CJ? No, I don't know CJ. We'll come to his happy hour. It's here. And I think that's connecting and bringing that world together. And so I love what you're doing that just in a very organic way.
Yeah.
And that's how you and I met.
No, definitely.
Yeah. It's super cool. So what's been one of the most rewarding things for you in that endeavor? I mean, it hasn't been very long now, but like, what's been the most rewarding thing for you?
Well, like, people have been like connecting, like, you know, I mean, I was like I met you through it, and like that's why we're here. Someone just told me that like I just randomly posted like a job posting on the Instagram. But they ended up getting that gig.
That's cool.
And I was like, oh, cool. Okay, well, this is working.
Yeah. That is really rewarding. That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
I think about especially how hard it is for people to find jobs today in the creative world. I know from, you know, the people that I know in broadcast and in networks, there's a lot of people getting laid off, and so there's a lot of really talented folks all vying for a few positions. You know, so it's great when you have a success story that you can be part of.
No, definitely. Like, I think now more than ever, like, creatives really need to, like, actually talk to each other. Because
Which can be weird because we're a little bit nerdy. And
a
little socially awkward sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm admittedly, I think I end up being a little bit more extroverted than I need to be. But
that's good, though.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean,
you know, I keep myself busy.
So. Yeah, we need more of that.